the women who shaped Christian ministry, a legacy of faith and courage. Throughout history, women have played a crucial yet often overlooked role in Christian ministry. From the early days of persecution to modern times, they have contributed through teaching, writing, evangelizing, and humanitarian work. Their stories are ones of resilience, faith, and an unyielding commitment to their calling. After the New Testament era, Christian women continued to serve in ministry despite societal constraints. Many risked their lives for the faith, while others dedicated themselves to theological pursuits and service. Perpetua and Felicity, 3rd century. These early Christian martyrs stood firm in their beliefs despite facing brutal persecution in Carthage. Perpetua, a noblewoman, kept a diary that detailed her imprisonment and visions, offering one of the earliest Christian female-authored texts. Their story inspired generations of Christians to hold fast to their faith in times of persecution. Macrina the Younger, 4th century. A theologian and sister of Basil the Great, Macrina was instrumental in shaping early Christian thought. She renounced a life of wealth and privilege to establish a monastic community where she trained both men and women in spiritual and theological matters, reinforcing the role of women in early Christian education. Clare of Assisi, who lived from 1194 to 1253, was the founder of the Poor Clares. Clare embraced a life of prayer and service, establishing a monastic order devoted to simplicity and charity. She was a close follower of St. Francis of Assisi and was the first woman to write a set of monastic guidelines emphasizing the importance of female spiritual leadership. Julian of Norwich, who lived from 1342 to 1416, was a mystic and theologian. Julian's Revelations of Divine Love remains one of the most profound theological works of the medieval period, offering deep insight into God's grace and love. Her theological perspectives on divine love and mercy were revolutionary for her time and continue to be studied today. Catherine von Bora, who lived from 1499 to 1552, was the wife of Martin Luther. Catherine played a crucial role in the success of the Reformation. She managed their household, provided shelter for Protestant refugees, and advised Luther on theological matters, proving herself as a spiritual and practical force behind his ministry. Anne Askew, who lived from 1521 to 1546, was a devout Protestant who was martyred for her faith. Anne was one of the first women to publish her own theological writings. She boldly defended her beliefs before religious authorities and endured torture for refusing to renounce her faith, leaving a powerful legacy of courage and conviction. Susanna Wesley, who lived from 1669 to 1742, was known as the Mother of Methodism. She trained her sons, John and Charles Wesley, in the faith. Despite societal restrictions, she held Bible studies in her home, drawing large crowds and laying the foundation for Methodist theology. Susanna Wesley, VO, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Phyllis Wheatley, who lived from 1753 to 1784, was a former slave who used her poetry to promote Christian faith and abolitionist causes. Her works, which emphasized spiritual redemption and justice, made her the first African-American woman to publish a book. Hannah More, who lived from 1745 to 1833, was a writer and social reformer. More emphasized Christian values in education and literature. She used her influence to establish schools and promote education for impoverished children, ensuring Christian teachings reached the next generation. Sojourner Truth, born in 1797 and passing in 1883, was an abolitionist and evangelist. She fearlessly preached justice and faith, advocating for both racial and gender equality. Her famous speech, Ain't I a Woman?, challenged societal perceptions of both women and African Americans. Sojourner Truth, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Fanny J. Crosby, who lived from 1820 to 1915, was a prolific hymn writer. Crosby wrote thousands of hymns, including Blessed Assurance, shaping Christian worship worldwide. Despite being blind from infancy, she viewed her disability as a divine blessing and dedicated her life to hymn writing and mission work. Catherine Booth, who lived from 1829 to 1890, was the co-founder of the Salvation Army. Booth championed ministry among the poor and advocated for women in ministry. She was a powerful preacher and a theological thinker, promoting women's right to preach long before it became widely accepted. Lottie Moon, who lived from 1840 to 1912, was a dedicated missionary to China. Moon's legacy continues through mission work that bears her name. She challenged gender roles in mission work and advocated for cultural sensitivity in evangelism, demonstrating the power of adaptability in spreading the gospel. Amy Semple McPherson, who lived from 1890 to 1944, was a pioneering Pentecostal evangelist. She founded the Foursquare Church and revolutionized modern Christian media. She was one of the first preachers to use radio broadcasts to spread the gospel, effectively reaching millions. Corrie ten Boom, who lived from 1892 to 1983, helped Jews escape the Holocaust during World War II and later traveled the world as a Christian speaker. Her experiences, detailed in The Hiding Place, highlight her unwavering faith under extreme adversity. Corrie ten Boom, V.O. Thou art my hiding place and my shield, I hope in thy word. Mother Teresa, who lived from 1910 to 1997, was a Catholic nun who devoted her life to serving the poor in India. Mother Teresa embodied Christ's love in action. She established the Missionaries of Charity and became an international symbol of selfless service. From the martyrs of the early church to modern-day evangelists, women have been vital to the spread of Christianity. Their resilience, faith, and commitment have shaped Christian ministry across centuries, proving that the call to serve God transcends gender. Today, women continue to lead, teach, and inspire, carrying forward the mission entrusted to them by Christ Himself. We call on everyone, both men and women, young and old, to commit themselves to Christian ministry by first surrendering their lives to Jesus.